So have I got something for you buffet people? Just stay to the end. You're going to love this. Hey lovers, it's PDH with Love on Tour, and this is our first impressions of the Star Princess. So as most of you know, I did the inaugural on the Sun by accident because it was pushed back so far. It ended up being the inaugural. That ship was just full of problems. But I'll tell you, I did it again, transatlantic, October 2024, September 2024, and it was fully functional. And I remember why I love the ship so much. So now I'm on the Star Princess. This is not quite the inaugural. They've had 2 cruises so far, I believe a 10-night and a 5-night cruising in Europe, and now we're doing the transatlantic to Fort Lauderdale, which will be its home. And I'm just as impressed with this ship. I really do love these new Princess ships. And I've been on the Royal Caribbean Icon of the Seas. I've been on the Royal Caribbean Utopia of the Seas. Been on the Norwegian Viva, Aqua, and Prima. But this is probably still my favorite of the new ships for a lot of reasons. Number one, I really do love all of the sweet perks that you get with this ship that you don't get on other ships. We'll talk about that in our suites review, the Sanctuary Suites review. But in terms of just the layout of the ship, I love it. I love the piazza. The food here is spectacular, and it's just as good. Now, I will say, you'll be quite disappointed with Sabatini's. They have taken the arancini off the menu. I was so upset when the waiter came. I ordered 6 of them just to hear him say they no longer have it on the menu. I couldn't believe that. It's one of my favorite things at Sabatini's. Do you love it? Are you mad that it's gone? Let me know in the comments. But I absolutely love the food here. The quality of the food is so high. I also love the quality of the coffee here at the Coffee Currents downstairs on 7 or 6 is one of my favorite coffee places of all the cruise ships that I cruise. Now, some of the really interesting things that are different now than on the Sun, as you remember, one of the biggest issues there, it was Part 19. They were doing this whole hang glider thing that was really drawing a lot of people. I think they were trying to appeal to a younger crowd by having that activity now. That is all gone. So now what you have is just kind of an activity court and then a nice seating area up there on the deck 19, which is disappointing. I think that whole design was so spectacular, but again, obviously it wasn't done well enough to where they could get the permits for it, and they had to take it out. In fact, when I was on the Sun last, they were doing the construction to deconstruct Park 19 and that whole area up there, so I can't even imagine how much money it cost them. Now, some other things here that are different on the Star Princess, they actually have extended the casino. So you've got the casino, which is on deck 8, I believe, and you've got that whole area, which is just about the same as what it was. But now that little area in the back where they had the slot machine, now that area is now on the other side of the ship as you walk back toward the restaurants. And so you have like this whole little casino slot space that is all to itself. Now, the first 2 nights here we've been in port, so I haven't had a chance to see and really experience the casino yet, but I do think it's still one of the largest casinos at sea. Now, the Utopia of the Seas for Royal Caribbean, that had a really large casino too, and that probably is bigger than the one here, but it's still a very nice size casino with a craps table and several roulette tables, poker tables, and then also all of the slot machines. So the casino tonight was really busy. I mean, it's our first night at sea, so you expect that, but it'll be interesting to see how the overflow into the non-smoking casino will help So we'll see. Stand by. So some of the other things that have changed from the Sun Princess is they've changed a lot of the restaurants and where they're located. Now I have to tell you, I have mixed feelings about this. The Sanctuary restaurant on the Sun was up, I believe on deck 7, near the piazza, right in the middle of the ship, and it was a beautiful space. I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous. It felt like an upscale restaurant when you went in it. Now that restaurant is mixed with the mini suite, which was the Reserve mini suite. So now the Reserve mini suites and the Sanctuary suites, or the other suites, all the suites, have one restaurant spot back where the American Diner was. And it just feels like kind of a main dining room space instead of an upscale separate restaurant where you have, the dining just feels like it's a real restaurant. And where it is now, you've got the little places where they clear their plates and that kind of thing. So it feels real main dining room, which I did not like. Now, Chops is back where the Reserve dining room used to be. And so now I'll be going to Chops tomorrow night and I'll get a chance to kind of get a feel for that space. But I always thought that Reserve space was fantastic. And then you have the Catch and Butcher's Block, which are now their own spots. Which is before they were kind of an extension in the back of the buffet there. And then I love the fact that now they have their own kitchen. So I am doing Catch tonight to see if the menu is expanded in any significant way and if the food is any different. I remember when I did Catch on the Sun, the first time I went, I thought it was pretty good. The second time I went, I thought it was pretty bland and I started to feel the limitations of the menu. What's your favorite specialty dining spot on these new class Princess ships? I'd love to hear about that in the comments. Another exchange here is the Love restaurant that is really dedicated to love, from the menu and the seating and the whole ambiance of it is now included with Premier. When I first did the Sun, the inaugural, it wasn't even open. You could walk through it and see that they haven't even finished it. And the second time on the Sun, I did not experience it, but I'm definitely going this time. And it is now included with Premier, which means that you don't have to pay extra if you have that Premier package. So that, to me, that's a nice touch. I mean, they really do have such a variety of specialty dining between all the restaurants in the Premier package. I don't know that there is a better value out there. I'd have to think about that. If you know, let me know in the comments. So Spellbound is still here, and that's $45 a person. I feel like it was more expensive before, but it is now palatable in terms of its expense, considering its own experience. I haven't decided whether or not I'll do that. If I do it, you'll see a review on it. So now the buffet is self-serve. Yes, you guys had an absolute conniption fit over the fact that the crew was serving you food in the buffet. I got so many comments. You guys were so upset about that. Well, they've changed it, and now it is self-serve, and you can now get your own food. Which, again, if that's important to you, it's a thing now, and so that should absolutely make a lot of you happy. Now, the one thing that did not change, that I would have loved to change, did not change. Now, to me, one of the most short-sighted things about this class ship is the theater and just how tiny it is. Now, I haven't gone through and counted the seats to see how much smaller or how fewer seats there are compared to other places, but I can tell you that if you're not there 45 minutes before the show starts, you're likely hunting for seats. I mean, it's pretty bad. I do like the roundabout design, but just the functionality for a ship that's got almost 5,000 people on it just did not seem like that was the way to go. They are doing some new shows on the Star Princess, and in our entertainment review, we'll talk about that, which I'm excited about, as Princess typically has some of the best all around, like around the ship type singing. Like the quality of the singing and the performing is really, really high on most of the Princess ships that I've been on. Now, O'Malley's is expanded to 32 more seats. than it had on the Sun Princess. You can almost never get in there on the Sun Princess. So now on the Star Princess, they do have expanded seating, and they still have those live performances for those of you who love the Irish bar type vibe. Now the dome remains the same, and the design of the ship is pretty much what the Sun is. So they made a few little enhancements internally, and obviously with some of the food and the restaurant locations. But other than that, if you love the Sun, you will love the Star Princess. Well, that's it for our first impressions review. Remember, it's love above all, love will travel, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.